I'm glad he brought up James Wiseman because James Wiseman's going down to the G League. Steve Kerr announced it last night. Here's what he had to say about James Wiseman being in and out of the lineup.
Really hard for anybody to be in and out of the lineup, but for a young guy who's been through a lot already, it's a lot to go through. But this is part of his journey. Everybody's got a different one. Part of his is that he barely played knee basketball before he got to the NBA, and then he had a major injury. What I love about James is that he's got incredible character and work ethic and care for the team. Unbelievable teammate. Before the game, he knew he wasn't going to be part of the rotation. He was helping Looney prepare for the game with Looney's workouts, defending him. And Wise is all in on the team. And because of his talent, because of all those characteristics I just talked about, I'm a huge believer that long term he's going to be a really good player. But he needs reps. He needs to play, and not easy when you don't get minutes. It's hard for anybody.
And then here's what Jordan Poole said. This is where I really respect Poole. He's growing up into a hell of a basketball player, but also a leader for the youngsters. Here's what Jordan Poole had to say about Wiseman going to the G League.
He's going to dominate it, first and foremost. I have the utmost confidence that he's going to do that, but just give him a different rhythm, a different style, to see a different style of play. And I'm telling him, it's not a demotion. It's not like punishment. You get to go down there and shoot as many shots as you want, get as many touches as you want, work on as many moves as you want. Just have fun. It's just basketball, You're playing games, and James is going to be perfect. He's going to be A-okay. Me personally, I have the utmost confidence in him. He's talented. He's curious. He's hungry. He's gifted. He's humble. Those are all the pieces you need to be successsul.
I had not heard that cut right there. Wow, from Jordan Poole. He's really grown as just a leader on the team, and he's right about that. I was watching Wiseman last night, and most people probably checked out in the final 8-9 minutes. Whenever he checked into the game, I know they were up 35 or whatever.
They're up 41.
Yeah, so I watched it. Early on, it was he looks like he has no confidence.
He doesn't.
No confidence. And I felt bad for the guy. And then as the game went on, he missed a couple of balls that were right in his hands. He kind of butterfingered them. And then he got a big-time rebound, put it right back in.
Right.
And you could see just one little play, the confidence grow a little. And I'm saying to myself, this guy needs to go back down. This is just me watching from afar. I said, this guy needs to go back down. He needs to rebuild his confidence.
Yep.
Period. That's where it needs to start. It starts from within. All the other stuff will fall into place. And I keep thinking back to a couple years ago. And I'm not saying he's going to take the same ascension as this guy, but I keep thinking back to just a couple of years ago. We're in the middle of that 2020 season, the COVID year. Jordan Poole looked like he was not an NBA player.
Yep.
Wiseman looks like right now he's not an NBA player. Yep. Now, it's probably more of an outlier to do what Jordan Poole did than it is to assume that Wiseman's going to do the same thing as him. There's a lot that he's going to have to accomplish.
One's a guard, one's a big man. Yeah, I get it.
But this is a kid that needs confidence and needs the minutes, and I'm okay with it. And this is not some sweeping indictment that he can never be good. Right now, it's a bad pick. He's not really helping you. It's a long-term raw project. I'm not denying any of those things. I'm also not giving up on him. Yeah. And I'm not trading his ass for Jakob Poeltl.
Jakob Poeltl.
You people out there hyping up Jakob Poeltl, who's the guy who plays for the Spurs right now, that the Warriors should trade Wiseman for him. Look, I would rather them hold out and just see if he's a bust or not than just trade him for some random big who's not going to play for you anyway. Jakob Poeltl's not making or breaking the Warriors championship medal this year. Bonta, you watched the guy last night. He's terrible.
He's all right. He's all right. I don't know if I'm trading Wiseman, but you are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ-FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the Odyssey app. You can make the argument that Jakob Poeltl could play better with the talent around him with the Golden State Warriors.
He got cooked by Looney on 3 consecutive possessions defensively, and I'm like, okay, you guys want to make a big deal about defense, which I agree with. Poeltl's not better than Lamb right now. Lamb's a better basketball player than him.
I don't know where Poeltl fits. It feels like we just throw names against the wall. We say, all right, let's go trade for this guy.
It's just...
Dude, some of you people need to just take your L's and shut the hell up. That's what you need to just shut the hell up because you sound foolish about the game of basketball. You sound foolish about everything. You wanted like the same people who are saying trade for Jakob Poeltl, the same people who wanted to blow up the team for Ben Simmons. I don't forget. You wanted the same. You wanted to blow up the same guys wanted to blow up the team for Pascal Siakam. All right,
forget
just
that.
all this stuff. But anyway, when it comes to James Wiseman, we discussed this last week. He needed to go to the G League because he needs to play.
It's fine.
3 DMPs, it's fine.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, he may not be a fit here. He may not be a fit here. And so Steve Kerr mentioned that he's going to get an extended stay in the G League. He's going to be there for at least 10 days. He's going to miss 6 games with the Golden State Warriors. Does he get better? He's got to get better when it comes to screen setting. It has to get better when it comes to rebounding, contesting shots.
To me, it's defense.
It's
specifically the pick and roll.
But
he needs to work on the pick and roll. I agree on the screen setting.
He's got to get better at. He's got to get better at rebounding. Got to get better at contesting shots. Got to get better at catching the basketball. You know, it just may not be a good fit here. And I love James Wiseman. I love the person.
Mm-hmm.
I think what social media has done to him, he's got a bad attitude. You guys don't know who James Wiseman is. The guy is just, if you're a 21-year-old kid, and you've been the best player throughout your years in high school, McDonald's All-American, number 2 overall pick, and you see your peers like Anthony Edwards balling. You see Tyrese Halliburton balling. You see LaMelo Ball balling. You see your draft class balling. Then you see the next class. Hell, you see Moody and Kuminga getting minutes ahead of you. You're going to be a little depressed.
Well, you're watching that Spurs team last night, and let's just play this out, right? Whoever the Spurs draft this upcoming year, okay, how many minutes is that guy going to get?
About 30.
Whether he's good or not.
Yep.
Right? So he's in a very different situation. He hasn't been able to play. He's been hurt. He's been underwhelming. Right now, it's a really bad pick.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean the pick is dead and that it's not going to show some sort of life down the line. This is now up to them to find a way to tap into his confidence and work on the fundamentals. He needs fundamentals.
And you know what? If he doesn't improve, the Warriors can make a decision to say, you know what, it's best for both parties to move on. Because he just may not fit with the Golden State Warriors system. And that's okay. And you know what? And you pivot. This won't be the last time. If they miss on James Wiseman and say it doesn't work out here in Golden State.
Okay.
It's not the first time they missed on the pick.
Yeah, they missed on Harrison Barnes.
And it won't be the last time. It won't be the last time they miss on the pick.
No.
All right, lottery picks at that. So, I just feel bad for the young man because he's only played 50 NBA games. 50 regular season games in the NBA. The rehab. You talk about rehab for Klay Thompson. James Wiseman had setback after setback after setback. Wasn't even able to partake in the championship series. Was in street clothes because he had a setback with his knee.
But I don't think they need, look, would it be nice to have a big man who can impact? Of course it would be.
Right.
But in terms of making or breaking the season, the reality is, if Kuminga can show a little bit of life and Moody can show a little bit of life, and the veterans that you signed in DiVincenzo and JaMychal Green can just be adequate, they should be fine.
Yeah.
To me, we're losing our minds about a $9 million player who I hope at some point can be a contributor.
Right.
I'm much more worried about the $40 million player and Klay Thompson regaining his confidence and his stroke from beyond the arc. I'm much more worried about the guy I gave a $130 million extension to in Jordan Poole being more consistent. Those are my top of the order priorities. I want Moody to be a perimeter defender for this team. Right now, their biggest issue, perimeter defense. Consistent scoring off the bench. Those are the things I'm looking for. And they've got personnel already on board when I don't even think about or compute or calculate James Wiseman that to me are more important for this year's championship. All right, this year's championship. Would it be nice to have a guy who can give me 9 minutes? And
it'd be great.
Of course,
vertical spacing. That's what we would all love.
But I don't think it's make or breaking.
No, it's not. It's insurance for Jim Looney.
I'm not downplaying. This could just be a whiff. There's no question.
It could just be a whiff.
That's what I'm saying. It could just be a whiff.
And you know what?
But it's not going to make or break them.
No,
and that's kind of the beauty of where they're at right now.
And listen, they didn't lose 8 games because of James Wiseman. Was he part of it? Absolutely. But you didn't lose all 8 games because of James Wiseman. That's foolish to think that a guy who plays 9-10 minutes a game lost you basketball games. Games may have turned, but still, again, there's 4 games now that they've lost where they had to lead or they didn't do anything down the stretch.
When we signed this guy last summer, Bielitsa, you and I had the Bia Bia song, and we were joking around. I'm asking the most diehard Warrior fan, did Bielitsa make or break the Golden State Warriors winning a championship last year? And his X amount of minutes? That was what the role projected for James Wiseman.
The guy didn't play for 3 months.
But that's
Bielitsa,
that's my point.
I know.
We're losing our mind. We're taking it out on the kid.
But you know why?
And I think it's
unfair.
You know why? Because he was the number 2 pick.
Exactly.
And I get that.
Let's get to Mike and Daily Studio real quick before the break.
But the reality is, it's when you're paying the amount of luxury tax for the top dogs that you are, it's not making or breaking them. I would love for this guy to be great. But I think, to me, it's the low-hanging fruit, and we're picking on him at this point.